Today, we are highlighting the various ways the LGBT agenda has hijacked the culture. And parents, listen up, because it is coming for your kids. Here's a clip from a Washington, D.C. middle school.
LGBTQ Pride Month. Wow. Do you want to know more? I want to know more. Great.
What is LGBTQ plus Pride Month? First, a reminder, LGBTQ plus stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or questioning, and other identities that are in this community.
That's just a snippet of something that was shown to a group of middle schoolers, of course, via Zoom. And joining me now to discuss all of it is Meg Kilgannon, Senior Fellow for Education Studies at Family Research Council. Meg, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Joseph.
When you see that clip, what's your reaction?
It makes me tired, honestly. I think most parents, when they find out about things like this in school, whether you are supporting this sort of thing or not, you're wondering if all the other boxes have been checked for the day. Have we learned our math and our reading and our social studies and our English? Are we really covering all the subjects that need to be covered? And have we done that so well? Have we done that so perfectly that we have time to do this too? It seems like maybe that hasn't been the case.
What does the data suggest? Let's see if we can answer your rhetorical question. I mean, are we killing it in the Washington, D.C. school system otherwise?
I haven't tracked the Washington, D.C. school system specifically, but I would say that the national NAEP scores would indicate that our children are not reading on grade level generally. They're not computing math on grade level generally, and that our schools are not the excellent schools that we pay for and that our children deserve. And so when you have issues like this, issues of personal identity, issues that are very controversial, very personal issues, and when you have them discussed in a school forum this way, it's an overstep, in my opinion.
In the last week or so, I saw another Zoom, and I mean, the beauty of all this Zoom COVID stuff is that, like, the curtain's being pulled back a little bit on the education system, right? Because I saw this conversation amongst teachers where one teacher basically lectured the rest of them and said, if you are not on board, and in that case, she was talking about the CRT stuff, you're going to lose your job. You're going to get fired. You may not be there yet, but that's where the Department of Education is going in our state. That's where the Federal Teachers Association is. And so if you're not there, you're going to get fired. Is it an overstatement, do you think, to say that the education system broadly is prioritizing cultural issues over education?
I think that's very easy to say, yes, that broadly that is happening. And the problem with that is manyfold, right? Because their priorities certainly are not reflecting the priorities of many other parents. But
No, let's pick that up, because we're talking about the fact that the education system, how it's being engineered, because there's a disconnect between, I think, the expectation of parents and what they're receiving at the administrative level, right?
Yes. When you send your children through the schoolhouse door, you are entering into an agreement with the school that the education experts, as they like to call themselves, are going to educate your children about academic subjects, right? And we don't necessarily agree to all the extras that we're getting. And when the school system has been set up with a lot of testing mandates that tie scores to funds and children's performance to access to money at the state level, they will teach to the test, and then once that's done, there's no reason to cover any more academic material, and then you're free to enter into the extracurricular, shall we say.
Yeah.
And that isn't a model for excellence.
Yeah. You know, my wife got her master's in teaching at the University of Washington, which is a large secular university. It was during the course of her master's program where she saw how the teachers were being prepared that she committed to never send her child to a public school. And so far, we have 4 kids, and so far that's been our reality. That's not necessarily a great option for everybody, even if, in my opinion, that's a good goal.
Right.
What should parents do? How are parents reacting to this?
Well, the main thing that parents should do is to keep track of what's going on in your school. Talk to your children about their assignments. Talk to them about what's happening in class. Look at their materials. Find out how to log in to Blackboard or Clever, whatever the program is that your school is using, and log into it and look at what they're teaching. And this isn't a problem that you can buy your way out of. There are reports coming out of these very, very tony private schools in New York City and Manhattan about parents who are shocked when porn literacy is being taught to their children at, they're paying $47,000 a year for the privilege of having that happen right under their noses. So the culture is coming for your children, and it's not going to limit itself to public institutions or secular institutions, or it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Can school boards stop this?
Yes. If school boards are so important, and if we had a better conversation at the school board level about teaching and learning and what's important and academic success, school board members could make a tremendous difference. The fact is that on the right, we have taken our kids out of school, as you've done. This is your right to do. And that means that the public school in your area doesn't necessarily have the benefit of your presence and your perspective, right? Because you're doing your education with your kids in your home or in a private school, and that's where your energy is focused, and rightly so. But we need the influence of everyone on our public schools so we have a fulsome experience and a complete picture of what's best for kids. And that means that we need parents like you and me informing that as well. So we need to engage.
There are plenty of good parents in the public school system whose kids are in the public school system, but they may not be in the public school system. Correct. And they need to get in there as well. If you are outraged, for the love of all that is good and decent, do something about it, right?
Yes.
Meg Kilgannon, thank you again for your time
and
for tracking this issue.